Have you ever thought about how much money you could potentially lose in Hypixel Skyblock every day just from not doing some simple things? Such as having an outdated minion setup, or not making space in your bank for your interest to actually come in. Or maybe you waste coins by relisting items on the AH until they sell. But I'm not going to be talking about any of that today. Especially in the Crimson Isles, there's a huge missed opportunity to make coins. So I guess today we're going to be taking a look at how we can make your daily Skyblock grinds just a little bit more profitable. Now the reason why the Crimson Isles is a huge missed opportunity is because a lot of the items that you drop just from killing the regular mobs are items that, of course, we probably all know at this point, aren't obtainable any other way. You can't buy them from the bazaar, you can't buy them from an NPC. You must simply just kill mobs to get them. For example, we have the Magma Necklace. Now, the Magma Necklace is crafted by using 20 Magma Chunks and then a total of 12 Enchanted Magma Cream. Of course, the Enchanted Magma Cream you can just simply buy from the bazaar, and that's not really a big cost. It'll cost you about 16k. Now, this is actually a money-making method in itself, but a lot of people just kind of passively, when grinding the Crimson Isles, will... I'm in a great setup at the moment, but they'll just kill these magmas. And from these magmas, you can get the Magma Chunks. Anyway, yeah, it's just a case of getting 20 of these Magma Chunks, and to be fair, you also do get the Magma Creams from killing these too. Now, what I will say is, because these are positioned at the front of the Crimson Isles, a lot of people just tend to kill them, meaning that it's not always completely and utterly efficient, although if you find a good lobby, you can just simply teleport around in almost like an infinite loop of killing them. Now, obviously, how fast you get these Magma Chunks is essentially RNG, but it really doesn't take too long at all. If you get into a decent lobby, you can probably quite easily get these Magma Chunks every 20 to 30 seconds. It is RNG, so it might take you a little bit longer, but on average. But it's one of those, like I said, sometimes you just passively pick them up, so it's just a case of maximising your profits. Instead of selling them to the NPC just to get them out of your inventory, you know, you can make a lot more money from actually crafting them into something. Anyway, we can just go ahead and craft one. As simple as that. And of course, once again, you have to remember that these also roll with attributes on them. So the better the attribute, potentially you can actually get one that's worth quite a lot. Like, see something here like Veteran Vitality goes for 2 million. Dominance Vitality going for about 3.5. Mana Pool Mana Regen going for around about the same price. So I guess it is a little bit of a gamble, but you're still making more money than you would, considering, I mean, selling them to the NPC is practically nothing. I didn't really get great attributes, so it's still profit, but it's not massive profit. Anyway, before we do go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. Also, you should subscribe to the channel, it does help out a lot. And you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry, make some coins, make sure to join. Now, something else we should talk about is crafting mushroom pets. Now, the way that you craft mushroom pets is, number one, you actually have to kill mushrooms, funnily enough. And killing these mushrooms get you the digested mushrooms. We should get one in just a second when we get lucky enough to actually drop one. Maybe not. There we go. So a digested mushroom, here we go. Now, of course, once again, this could just be something that you've subconsciously actually grinded for, or maybe something that you particularly do. But most people end up with a lot of these digested mushrooms, and to be honest, I never really knew what to do with them fully. Anyway, the crafting recipe to get this legendary mushroom cow pet, or potentially to have a chance at getting it legendary, is a super enchanted egg, 2 stacks of digested mushrooms, and 2 stacks of enchanted mycelium. Of course, the enchanted mycelium you can buy from the bazaar. Same with the super enchanted egg. Of course, when you actually do take the chance, it's an 80% chance of getting epic and a 20% chance of getting legendary. But at the end of the day, you're paying around about 1.5 million for this, which really isn't too bad. Considering the cheapest epic mushroom is 3.4 mil, which is still decent profit. And if you get lucky and get a legendary, it's almost 8 million, so that's great. And to be honest, you seem to get these digestive mushrooms relatively quickly. Once again, it is just RNG, as with most things on Skyblock. But it really shouldn't take you too long at all to get this. And as with pretty much all the methods in this video, or just the ways to, you know, enhance your profits, I wouldn't really go out of your way to do this money making method. This is just more something, if you have fragments lying around, don't just NPC sell them or keep them in a chest, because you can make quite a lot of money from it potentially. Now, something else I want to talk about is corrupted soil, or corrupt soil. Now, corrupt soil is an item that you put in your minion. First of all, it's crafted by surrounding 20 corrupted fragments by 160 enchanted mycelium. Now, when placed in a minion, this will mean that it, number 1, produces sulfur, and number 2, produces corrupted fragments, because every time it kills a mob, it gains corrupted fragments. Because the corrupted soil makes the mobs corrupted. I've left this minion running for maybe a few days, but this fills up ridiculously quickly. I'm talking ridiculously quickly, and now I already have 6 stacks of corrupted fragments. And each corrupted soil only takes 20 corrupted fragments. Now, the corrupted soil sells on the bazaar for 1.3 million, which means that essentially each time you can sell a corrupted soil and craft it and sell it, should I say, you're going to make 100k profit. Now, I know it's not a lot, but like I said, my minion has been pretty much full for a few days, and it has 6 stacks in, and it only needs 20 per corrupted soil. To cut a long story short, I've already made the money that I paid for the corrupted soil back, which is actually kind of cool. And that's just from the corrupted fragments that minion item actually produces. So yeah, interesting. Now, something else that can actually be profitable to do is crafting gas cloaks. Now, to craft a gas cloak, you need 10 tentacle meat and 3 stacks of enchanted gas tears, which can just be bought straight from the bazaar. The way you obtain tentacle meat, well, there's actually 2 ways. So first of all, you could just teleport up here and kill these ghasts, and they're not completely and utterly massively common to drop the tentacle meat, but there we go, we've already dropped one. But this is by far the quickest way to actually get them. There is alternatively another way whereby you can kill the tentacles near the matriarch, but from my experience, this is really, really ridiculously slow. Like, it's got to be like 10-20 times slower than killing the ghasts. However, something to consider is that the ghasts aren't always here. They only spawn between certain times within the game, so not real time in real life, but the time in the lobby. It's quite easy to tell there are specific times, but you can't just look up, and if they're not there, then you're going to have to wait. Anyway, whether you go out of your way to do this method, or whether it's something that you just end up doing passively through being in the Crimson Isles, you're going to pay 80k for the ingredients, of course, plus the tentacle meat that you've grinded. The cheapest one on the AH right here, as you can see, is 125k. So you're going to make profit no matter what, but once again, you can roll attributes. And realistically, all you have to do is roll dominance, and you're going to make at least 800k. Now, that's crazy. Mana pool mana regen is over 20 million coins. Of course, you can't expect to get this every time, but it is possible. So when people think it's just Kudra and Blazeslayer that make money in the Crimson Isles, that's just not true. You can also make a lot of coins in the Crimson Isles just by simply doing the mini-bosses in a circuit. The mini-bosses not only are great in terms of potentially from like Ashfang if you drop something decent, but just the drops that you're guaranteed to get every time. For instance, from Barbarian Duke, which is probably one of the more difficult ones if you don't have a Hyperion. If you do have a Hyperion, you can just simply teleport underneath and kill it from under the floor. But the Barbarian Duke is guaranteed to drop 1 leather cloth every time. And these leather cloths can be saved and crafted into a Gauntlet of Contagion. The cheapest Gauntlet of Contagion is like 10 to 15 million coins. If you get lucky and roll like a god roll, you'll be looking at over 100 million coins. But the great thing is pretty much anything that you can think of crafting in the Crimson Isles is always going to be profit to some extent, even if you have to use your bazaar offers, because at the end of the day there's no other way to obtain the items that you actually need to craft something other than simply grinding the game and having the collections. And to be honest, I guess that's probably why the barriers to entry for people like newer players to enter the Crimson Isles is relatively high, because there is high reward for coming here. But that is going to just about wrap up today's video. Potentially you could have tons of items sitting there in your sack or your chest and they're just sitting there and you don't really know what to do with them. Well, here's a use for them. On top of that, a lot of people just insta-sell them to the NPC because they can't sell them to the bazaar. And it is easier to do that, but you're going to lose out on a lot of coins, as you can see. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.